All right, we are live. Hello, welcome. Pricebook Wednesdays. How is everyone doing? I am tired. Wednesdays are my long day, and I work about 12 hours on Wednesdays. I mean, it's not uncommon. But today was a lot of meetings, and I'm doing the video call late in the evening. I am a little tired. And oddly, it's March. What's today's date? March the 5th. I was using my space heater. I have pants on, a long sleeve. This is, I don't want to say an odd year. I live in Wisconsin. We're just going to say that the weather here is odd. Not odd, it's just northern. It's northern. It's Arctic. But I was cold. I was very cold. Where is everybody from, and what's the temperature in your area? I mean, it's 70 degrees outside, but I had my window shut, and in here it's pretty cold. It says 72 on the thermostat. Okay, so I'm showing my price book, my Housecall Pro. Today we're going to talk about our extension a little bit, which is very, very exciting. We are going to, it looks like I need to verify. Oh, there it goes, it's logged in. We're going to talk about estimates and invoices. We talked last week a little bit. We were doing plumbing. I definitely went on a bit of a rant for offering options. I want to touch on that a little bit also, where let's stop calling them options, recommendations. You don't need to be a salesperson to let the customer know repairs could be made. You don't need to wait for them to be broken for the customer to notice that they need the repair to call you. Right? Just offer some recommendations. You do not need to be pushy. Just, hey, I was down in your crawl space and I noticed that there was a few pipes that are corroded. I took some pictures and I attached them to the estimate or the invoice. And not that they were a major rush today, but I recommend getting them done someday in the near future. Leave it at that. Let them decide there. You don't need to be pushy and say, we can do it today for a discount. I mean, you can if you'd like, but just recommend, okay? But offer your options. You are the professional. Some customers know their homes very well. Some customers do not. So while you're there, and if you're in an area with crawl spaces or water piping in the attic, HVAC technicians, you're always in an attic, basements. Let the customer know what you've seen and give recommendations. They don't need to be done same day. Say, think about them. We recommend them. When you're ready, we're here. You don't need to be too pushy. But so if you watched last week's live, I did rant about offering options. And I just wanted to touch on that again a little bit, where just recommend and just don't be pushy. So our Housecall Pro extension, our Pricebook companion, we're still working on it. We have a couple of bugs that we have to get fixed. We have it submitted to Google, so we're waiting for Google's approval. Again, we still have a few bugs to work out. My developer is just fixing up these fields so they can be viewed, right? You can't see the whole string of letters or words or whatever, and they're also kind of pulling the wrong value. But most of it works. It's really cool. So it's right now not in capture mode. We would have to turn it on. And soon there's going to be a couple more buttons. So this is capture. So you can capture a service and send a request back to us, changes or questions, whatever. Then we're going to add a submit a new service button here, and then a feedback button, and that's what we're thinking of for now. But while you're in your book, as soon as you're inside the price book page, you can turn this on anywhere, but it only works inside of here. And what will happen is in certain places, like it doesn't work here, but you can click into the category. Here, the system refresh the name, and it auto brings up this capture button. So you would click capture. It brings up a little picture of that line, because it sends it back to us, the name, and then a little notes tab, and you send the request to us. So we'll just test. And then let's get into a category and go in a little deeper. We have our services. This does lag a little bit, but it was kind of like we had 50-50, had to deal with, we needed to speed this button up. But by speeding it up, we lost the speed on how fast it gets removed. So it stays up for a second, and if you kind of go quick, it disappears kind of quick. So this here, you want to capture this service, and it would bring it up with the picture, the name, task code, price, all that stuff, and you'd be able to enter. We're changing this new value and field to be a pencil edit mark. So you'd be able to click it and edit. So this right here, we came in, and the idea here is that you will be live inside of your price book in Housecall Pro while you're doing work to make communicating with Pricebook Ninjas as easy as can be. You're in here, you're looking around, let's turn this off, right? You're looking around, or a technician calls and says, hey, I found a funky service. What is this? I don't know, let's go check, right? So we come in, and there's a few ways, right? But this is one way. You could come in, turn on the extension, and then right from here, grab a service, ask us a question, send the request right to us. Then it's for adding new services, but ease of use, right? And then one of the biggest is, while we're in the review phase, to be able to submit changes to us very quickly, where you are in the environment that you know. One of the biggest things with this is really weird how it works. I have to build something, and I have to be okay with, like, I have to train you how to use my product. Just like Housecall Pro, they have the help section and stuff. But you got to get on and start using it. What I don't like is when people aren't able to use it as easy as I would like them to, right? Kind of like the spreadsheet. So our whole idea is making this as easy as possible. Now, is there a level of easy as possible? Probably. There's a level that, like, easy as possible, this is what Pricebook Ninjas has created, and this is what you're going to be using. Let me move my screen. I think I keep fading into the matrix because I'm looking off to my screen to the left. Okay. I'm sharing this one. Let me see if there's a way. So it's all about ease of use. That's what we want. And you're already inside of Housecall Pro. So we want to try to bring the tools to you. Housecall Pro already built an amazing software. Let's just figure out how we can communicate better through Housecall Pro, right? All right, so I'm sharing the screen now. Let's see if this works. It's my big screen. So let's try to open this up nice and large, but it still looks a little weird. I can't tell how zoomed out that looks, but it is a fairly large monitor where my other one, but just Let me try sharing on another monitor. And maybe this becomes the monitor that I share on. Okay. So yeah, the idea is to make it as easy as possible. But again, there is the hurdle, right, of I have to create a product. It unfortunately won't work for everybody. We want it to work for the most people. It just hurts when people don't like it, right? We want them to be happy with what we provide. And that's with every service that's provided. But I'm sure everybody compartmentalizes and realizes you can't make everybody happy. It can't be perfect. You would have to create so much customability within your product. And we do have that, right? But we just want you to be able to communicate smoother. So I don't know quite what this download button is. If this extracts, I'm gonna have to check with him. Boom, we gotta get rid of that. I'm gonna check that out. Okay. But so you'd be able to, then we changed our, we can do our edits and communicate, and we're going to add a few more buttons here to be able to communicate a little bit better, right? With new services, a feedback button. We want to make this a lot like our portal where it says like approved. So you could say, I've approved this entry and I want it this way. So we can just enter it. Or I'd like feedback. So as soon as we see the I'd like feedback button, we would then email you and ask what's up. This is what our thoughts are. What are your thoughts? We see you wrote this. We're very excited about this. If anybody can think of a cool idea to add to this, I want this to be like a Batman belt. Being your price book companion where you could have tools. We have a few ideas, but I think for now of being able to submit an edit, that's the big one, is submit an edit. And if you're in your environment in Housecall Pro where you're already used to, and you're clicking around or a technician calls, like I said, you've isolated a service, then you come and you capture this and you message in this service price looks low. Can you give me details? Boom, right? Like send, my bad spelling. But that request went to us. That is now over in our email. Okay. They are over in our email. We have all of those requests. And they come that fast. So, and then our goal is to then email you as quick as possible of that request and figure out what it is. And then we'll then enter your request, right? But the idea here is that it's custom. You're still getting the changes of what you need done. You have us, so we can communicate and discuss what might be the best option for you because there's not one way is the right way. You may want feedback on it. You may have an idea, right? Or you may be on the unknown of what a service is. So let's figure it out, right? But having this communication, so you don't need to go from here to our portal or to email. You have Pricebook Ninjas. We're already working inside Housecall Pro. Let's see. So we're still in capture mode. But what happens is you can click capture. If you click capture, then it brings it up on the right. But while you're still in capture mode, you can still click around a little bit. Now, this page is a little different. We don't have capture individually we have capture entire service, and we should probably make it like a pop-up or something. Like as soon as you're in here, because it's not quite that clear, right? But you would capture the entire service, and let's see, it's this one down here. So if you have your full build out with your labor rates and your material here, all of this stuff will be editable and be able to send us requests. So it's pretty good. I mean, you could send a request in on any part of your price book that comes back to us instantly. Let's check that out. So I got my email open up on my big screen here. I'm going to do a refresh, and we're going to do this one here, and we need to put in a value. Let's send that request. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. We don't need to count, right? Let's see. Do we hit the refresh button? We hit the refresh button. It's there. So it's that fast the request gets back to us. It's all about the time frame that it's going to take us to get back to you. But the hope is that it'll be quick. That's the idea here. Custom at your fingertips, all in the known. Okay. It is. What did everybody do for dinner? I had to rush. I had some pork. Today was a busy day. Just looking at the time. It's almost 6:30. I'm tired. I'm tired for sure. So, cool. Well, that's our price book extension tool for Housecall Pro. It still is being tested and viewed by Google. We have to wait. It takes a little bit of time, but very soon this will be live, and hopefully from there on there'll be some new tools and features that we can provide to you. But for now, that is your price book companion that lives in your Housecall Pro that you get to communicate directly with Pricebook Ninjas. I think it's quite cool. Just the evolution and is definitely really cool. We have a few people testing it. It's just the problem is we could put it out on any computer, but we have to send you through a bit of a setup process. This is much easier, so we just need to wait for approval, and then it'll be live to our members, mainly our members, and then people who are on a launch system. Otherwise, if you're DIY, it would not be available to you because the edits wouldn't go back to anybody. Okay, so we're just going to spend a few minutes and we're going to explore the HVAC book, and we will work up a bit of a estimate here. So we do have always the option for our estimate templates, which are really cool. These are where you pre-build your good, better, best options or any templates that you can preset. And you do have the option to edit and add services or remove services. But just make sure when you're doing that, you are, I would say, limiting it, right? Try to build out as much as you can beforehand. One is descriptions and pictures don't change. So you can pre-build them, or otherwise you're using your regular price book and you're inside of an estimate. Now, something else that I big time learned last week, and it's just, I'm not shooting estimates and invoices. I know the theory behind and to build. You can only build estimate templates, or excuse me, options right? Let's go back to here. Let's go to my test customer, test. In estimate, this is the only place you can add options. You cannot add options in a job. So one thing here that was kind of thought about was, how are you doing the credit card surcharge, huh? How are you doing the credit card surcharge? Are you adding it to your book, to your pricing, or are you going to start using this added fee? I know this is a long time coming for a lot of users. And I just heard today of, somebody who was like, I don't like it, right? They want to put it within their service. I think it's cleaner within the service. And then you can offer a cash discount, right? Cash or check discount. I'd also be wary of checks. Yes, we have mobile deposit, but I don't know, checks can bounce. I mean, there's probably a lesser chance of the card. I haven't written a check in a very long time. I mean, a very, very long time. I'm sure, as a lot of you guys out there, I'm sure you are still cutting checks and stuff like that for things. Every single one of my subscriptions are totally digital for my business. All of my overhead is all digital payment through credit cards. Just in general, I haven't cut a check in God knows how long. I mean, we're talking years. Do I want to say a decade? I can't go that far back. But checks can bounce. Credit cards, they can reverse the payment. There are things. Cash, if you can collect straight cash, give a discount. I'm still on the fence about checks. I would want, the idea here is that it's like cash, you still have to record it, right? But chances are the cash is going to go into your pocket or into a little kitty, or right, like your little cash fund to have in the business for whatever. But I don't know, I feel like the check still has a process to it. You can't just put that in your pocket. So I feel like it doesn't get the discount that cash gets. So do what you will with that. Okay, so navigating your price book, we're just going to be going on and putting in a couple of line items for a service. But you can pre-build packages. So you would go, if you were to do, I went on a bit of a rant. We were talking about where you can add invoices or your options. An estimate, you can add options to. A job, you cannot. So if you are going to a job or a house, you're going to a service call and you're starting your call on job, then I feel like you might be doing a disservice to yourself, that you're not optimizing that call. You're just going out there for one item. We don't need to Joe Crisera 5-7 options. No offense, Joe. I don't know him yet. I do hope to meet him one day. But it's depending on, but you need to offer options. So go as an estimate and then convert it to a job, because if you're charging your trip fee, but don't go on a job and just charge your trip fee. You should be charging your trip fee and offering a few options. Recommendations. You should be doing a small home inspection wherever you go. Like you know their stuff. I mean, how many times, let's go for plumbers. How many times have you been to a home and a multi-turn shutoff was leaking, and you just tightened it and you didn't say anything to the customer because by you tightening it, you are tightening the packing nut, and you're going to tighten that thing, and it's going to stay that way and not leak until the next time, which who knows how long that could be. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's going to be a very, very, very long time. But do you think the customer should have known about that issue? I know it's very minute, but hey, there was a small drip on your thing and we were able to tighten it up. Today is not the day. We don't need to do today, but one day we may want to change that to a multi-turn, to a quarter turn shutoff. And then, while we're here, there's all sorts of stuff that we can do, that we can package a few together and save a couple bucks. You don't know if they want to upgrade, but I'm using that example, but that, there's way more. I mean, let's talk about a flow by Moen. Somebody just showed me a really cool shutoff valve today. Why aren't we offering that every time we go into a home? Insurance companies sometimes give discounts on that. That's good advice. I mean, what level of safety for HVAC, a monitoring system, electrical, a panel monitoring system, right? They're out there. Okay, I keep going off. So you always want to start on an option. And when you come in here, this is your first might be your dispatch, right? It might be your dispatch fee. So we're going to do that. And then your next one is, see, we can select from templates, but new option. Let's create it. This one will be for let's say spark igniter. We're going to go into the HVAC book. We're going to come into the heating, into the ignition, and we have a spark igniter off of the truck. Let's add that service. Now we have that in the book. And we need this to go because right now it's not, the system isn't ignited. So option one is our dispatch and diagnostic, which you can do whatever you want in here, and it's flexible. Because if let's say you sell option two, the customer already knows that they're being charged for this one, and you remind them, hey, you still got to pay that whatever, or you can add it to each ticket. So then you show them, right? We have the spark igniter. This is the main item that's fixed, that needs to be repaired to get your system going. Your system is 7 years old. It's amazing you haven't had to call out technicians, for this unit at all. You've done really great. I'm not trying to scare you, but what we can do is offer replacement items, and we have 3 and 5 part system refreshes. And this is preventative maintenance. What this can do is potentially keep us out of your house longer. Now, can I guarantee that this will keep your system from breaking down? No, but it makes our chances better. Now, a 7-year-old system is a great system. It's not that old. You've still got a lot of life left to it. And I'm definitely not saying that a part's going to break tomorrow. It's up to you. But we have the 3-part. Let's throw that on, right? So now we have option one, where it's just a straight dispatch, option two, and you can rename these, right? It just takes a little bit of time out in the field. And then the big one is the 5-part. If you want, you could offer a system replacement at this point. But then now, listen, it's not just this stuff. It's the conversation. This last winter was dry as hell in my place. I mean, we were like sitting around humidifiers, like trying to hit them, like get a hit off the humidifier to feel a little bit of relief. Everything we were shocking off of. You couldn't kiss somebody or touch somebody, touch a doorknob, nothing. You were constantly getting sparked. You never know where the conversations go. So if you have tools like IAQ options, you don't know what people are thinking. Hey, we have air filtration stuff. They're really cool 5-inch air filters that are HEPA. Oh great, I have a dust thing, a dust allergy. It'd be really cool to do that. You never know. What they may not know, the customer, is to ask you those questions. They may, but offer. We built a plumber a really nice options book, and he said he noticed very quickly that sales improved because he was offering those options. So, okay. So, and I just added the 5-part. So we have 1-part, 3-part, 5-part, right? Not major at all. And you don't need to go into scare tactics, okay? We don't need to scare our customer. We just need to advise. And then, as always, pictures do not work in here. In the estimate templates for services. But the really stupid thing is then it'll show here. Let me go turn this on. Visibility. I think this is kind of stupid. Let's see. I don't have the images on, so we have them on now. Let's present. Come into details, and the image is there. It's annoying because you need to add the image here, but then I don't even know how to do that. I wish it would grab the picture from here to put up there, but also why they put in the category name is beyond me. But it just, we want to be able to build options in the field. So what's coming, it's a little bit of a longer term thing, but what's coming to Pricebook Ninjas is more options, more of an options book. But it's going to be a little while, and we don't know really how to work it in. Not work it in, but how to remind you guys, hey, you got to use these things over on this side and these things over on that side. The one really cool thing about the new flat rate is they have an option for everything. Now, if we did a good, better, best option for everything, we have additional line items, and I don't know how the additional will work. But if we removed the additionals, we still have our motor matrices. So I don't know how that'll work with the motor matrix for all the OEMs of saying like, hey, you have the option of like your motor, this. So we have 220. So we would have to multiply that by 3. So your book would have almost 700 services. I don't know. I think about it. It's coming. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming, and I hope to see you next week. If there's anything you need, please reach out. Bye-bye.